Hi there and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to go through kind of how I do my stretching routine. It's going to be how I do my stretching routine. It's going to be regular stretching as well as oversplits. This is very like gymnastics based and intro to contortion. So you can always modify. I'll talk kind of through it, but I'm going to be using two yoga blocks. I'm using strong blocks. The reason that I'm using strong blocks is because they turn into parallettes, right? So take off the handle, put it on top, boom. Now you have something to grip. So you can get a little bit higher if you need to, or you can turn it on the side. You can still use it as a yoga block, but I just like to have that handle when I stretch. So let's get started. We're gonna start in, I'm probably gonna go like sideways so you can see most of my body. So let's get this going. So we're going to start in a regular lunge. All right, so we're here. Let's get back so you can see. Cool. So what I'm going to do with the strong blocks is I'm going to have them right by my hips. My back toe is tucked under. My chest is up. If we lean forward too much, we can get some compression in our hip, and you're not going to stretch the back hip flexor as much as you would if you continue to extend it open. So we're going to keep these by our sides. We're going to push down into the blocks and keep our chest up. My front foot is facing straight forward, but it can also be turned out a little bit depending on your preference. We're going to hold here, but you have the ability to kind of move these around and do what you need to, or if you want it in front to give a push, you can do that as well. So I just kind of hang out here. I usually hold all of these stretches depending on my day and depending on how much I have to do and want to do. Between 30 seconds to a minute each. So from here, we're going to shift back. I can put my foot against the couch to keep this flat, but I know my foot goes pretty flat here. So I can focus on pulling this hip forward to feel more of the stretch in my hamstring here. My back knee is directly under my hip. And my chest, imagine there's a string pulling my chest directly forward. So I'm trying to flatten my back and pull my chest forward. By doing that, it's going to naturally lengthen my hamstring to feel the stretch even deeper. If you look like this, your hamstring is not going to get the most stretch it needs to, or it can. So really focus on keeping this leg straight. Even if you're up here, you can still feel the stretch up tall. So make sure your back is flat when you do this. You can wiggle your foot a little bit. Just hang out here. Give some movement. Feel the twist. Feel the spots of your hamstring that maybe need some more attention, yeah? And then from here, you're gonna go into grab your back leg. So we're gonna stretch our quad. Back leg comes up. You can grab with the same arm if you need to reach it that way, but what you're gonna notice is you feel more of a stretch when you grab with the opposite arm. It's gonna force the hip to stay open, and it's gonna keep you as square as possible. You're gonna pull that knee as close as you can to your butt, keeping the chest up. If you get it here and you feel that stretch and you can maintain that squareness, you can transfer hands to get a little more balance to keep that chest up. Make sure you don't open the hips out to the side. Pull the hips facing forward, and then if you can rotate this around, then you have some push to get that heel to your butt. But as you do that, don't let your hips come up. Keep the hips down, and then push that heel to your butt. Keep the hips forward, chest forward. From here, what you're going to do is you're going to put your leg up on something or on a block if you don't want to use both of them. I'm going to do oversplits as well as keep my hands on the block. So I'm going to move the camera up just a little bit. So now we're ready to put this leg up on something. I'm actually going to use a pillow as well. So if you have a pillow or something soft for your back knee, it will help you settle into the stretch a little bit more. So leg goes up, one hand on either side. Make sure that back knee is on your pillow. Blocks are by your hips, okay? So from here, you're stretching into your oversplit. Even if the leg is not all the way up onto like a couch or something like that, it can be on a block, it can be on a book. But the fact that you're stretching oversplits is going to allow your body to sink into it and get your splits faster. So for me, I need to make sure my knee is good there. And I feel a stretch, and I didn't used to feel a stretch when I was younger, so this is kind of sad. And it used to bow a little bit, but I need to really work on getting that back hip flexor open, so I need to stay upright. Sometimes coaches will tell you to put your hands on the surface in front of you, and that gives you more of a focus on the hamstring, but I know that my hamstrings are good. I need to focus on my hip flexors, so I should put these a little bit forward and push back, or just stay as upright as I can and really pulling that back hip forward, squeezing the back glute in this stretch. Hang out there for as long as you need, and then come down. From here, we're gonna go into back leg up. So your knee is going to be, why does my neighbor stare at me? So you're gonna put your back knee up onto whatever surface. Front leg is gonna go out in front of you. It can go on the pillow or it can go on the floor, does not matter. So from here, same thing, chest is up. You can straighten that back leg, and you're trying to keep your hips as square as possible. And I'm trying to stay upright. So for me, I wish these blocks were a little bit taller, or I could use taller parallettes, because I want to have a little bit more leverage. So I can turn these sideways and use them as yoga blocks, right? So if you have something that gets to, whatever height you need it, use it. I still need to focus on turning that back toe under behind me. And then if I want a little bit of a deeper hip flexor stretch, I bend this leg, right? And your toe may cramp, or your hamstring may cramp. That is all fine. It's all normal. Just settle into it and sink. From there, come out nice and slow. We're gonna do all of that on the other side as well. Back to that lunge. Hips down, chest up. Right here, I'm gonna scoot back just so you can see all the, there we go. All right, chest is up. So here, if you feel like you're holding on and you're not really pushing, that's when you want to make it a little bit higher so you can have some leverage. You want to make sure that you are actively stretching. That back glute is squeezing and pulling forward versus turning out. Feel the stretch on the front of the hip. And as you twist your hips, you can kind of feel how the stretch changes. And oddly enough, the spot where I need the most stretch, or I'm the most flexible, I don't feel a lot of stretch. So this is when it would be great to have a partner who would come behind you and push on your glute to push the hip forward. If you don't have a partner, you're gonna have to actively squeeze that glute, otherwise you're not gonna get the stretch that you need to get, even if you don't feel it. I hope that made sense. From here, straighten that the front leg. Straighten the front leg, flex this front foot. Remember, back is flat, string on the chest, pull it straight forward, keep this leg straight, and pull that back hip forward. Don't let yourself sit back and twist. Pull it forward and give a little bit of movement here. Focus on the flatness of the back. Words are hard today. On the flatness of the back. And keep that leg straight. Once you feel like you're good here, you can keep the back flat and then walk it out as far as you can. Keeping those hips square, legs straight, chest pulling forward, and then you can fold. Whatever your body needs at this point in time. From here, back into your lunge, hips are down, grabbing that back leg with the opposite arm, keeping the hips square as possible. You can transition it to the same arm, rotate that hand around, and then push to get that heel close to your butt. Keeping the chest up. If you need to use your block, please do. Keeping those hips down, glutes squeezed, hips square. If your front knee goes past your ankle, that's okay. Just try not to let it go past the toes. Hold this here, keep pushing. Keep squeezing that back glute very gently so you're not going to tear anything, but you want to feel that extra little push. And then come out slowly. We're going to go into your oversplit. So getting that back leg or that front leg up. Why am I switching my legs? Ow! As you can tell, that was my struggly side. So your leg is up. Oh, I need my pillow. Grab your soft pillow so you can endure this stretch longer. Pillow behind. That's why I slammed my foot, because things were not set up. Setup is very important. Okay, so I feel very unsquare, so I need to make sure that my leg is coming straight out from my hip and my back foot is coming straight out from my back glute. So I'm here stretching this. Point that back toe, squeeze the glute in the back, keeping the hips forward, chest up, feeling the stretch in the hip flexor. If it still feels too much like almost like an open split, keep tucking that back knee under. You can even twist your body towards the side of the front leg to get more of a hip flexor stretch. I like to do this because, again, if I lean forward or I put my hands on the mat or whatever in front of me, it's gonna stretch my hamstring more, and I need to focus on my hip flexor. So holding here, giving some movement, and then we'll go to that back leg up, keeping that leg straight, toe pointed, and here we go. Awesome. Back leg up, knees on the edge, front leg squiggles out. Yeah. Again, as you can tell, this is not my good side. So we're chest up. I need these to rotate just to get some extra leverage. This side, always for some reason kind of hurts my knee, so I have to kind of overstretch and bend it to get this stretch properly. I don't know why, just my bad side has always had that weird knee. It feels like something is not quite right, something's gonna happen. So I just hang out here, get a little bit of an extra stretch if I need. No! My strong block, come back. Ugh. Okay. So if I need, I'll put that block on the inside of my foot and grab here to try and get extra over stretch. And you can hold this however you need. From here, we're gonna come out slowly. Ugh. And you're gonna want that pillow again for one side, because we're gonna go into our middle stretch. We're gonna do half frog, and then full frog. So your knee, your bent knee is gonna go on that pillow. And these you can use in front of you if you want. They're not necessary, but you can use them. Sometimes if you even use a slider on this foot, it'll help you get deeper into your stretch, so you don't have to basically try as hard. It's gonna do the sliding for you. So from here, this is my first time stretching, so I'm a little bit stiff right now, and it feels like my legs are gonna snap off, but that is okay. We're in this together. So what we're gonna do from here, you wanna make sure that there's a straight line from your knee to your crotch to your knee, right? You don't wanna be leaning too far forward. You don't wanna be too far back. You want a straight line, basically the highest point. If you were to roll back and forth, wherever your hips go up the highest is where you need to stretch. So go down to your elbows, and you can rock back and forth here, about an inch forward and an inch behind that center. Keep the legs straight. Keep reaching that foot to the side. Keep that bent leg knee at a 90-degree angle, and hang out here. Good. Bend that leg, come forward, switching sides. This leg is now bent at 90 degrees, and this side is going to sneak out as far as it can. Good. And then from here, straight line from knee to knee on your elbows, and rock forward and back, gently, gently. Keeping that leg straight and this leg bent at 90 degrees. And then from here, you can either use 2 pillows or you can just go back to the ground into your full frog. In your full frog, you want to make sure that you're, like if you're on your elbows, right? And I'm facing you this way. If you're in your full frog, 90-degree knees, and you're on your elbows, I want you from here to keep your hands where they are and then just straighten your arms into your stretch, okay? I'm not telling you to push backwards, all right? I'm gonna go to the side so you can see the angle that I'm at. So if we're in our middle, okay? We're in our middle and we're on our elbows. Hands are down. My hips don't move. I'm just straightening my arms and I'm stretching, right? That middle split here with a little extra pressure down. So here I feel like the carpet is inhibiting my stretch a little bit, so this is where I would want to use sliders under each knee so that it forces me to slide out. I'm still going to give some movement here in each hip. You can tuck the hips under, you can arch back, you can keep the core tight, but you're going to feel a deeper stretch here up on your hands than you would down here, okay? Find whatever works for your body, whatever you need, and then we're going to go into our pancake before we go into our full middle splits. So sit back. Ugh. I'm actually going to use my strong blocks for this one because I want to work on my hamstring flexibility in my straddle pancake. So when my feet are up on these, I get a little extra stretch that is lovely, lovely, lovely. And who am I kidding? My straddle is not that wide, but we're gonna move the blocks. Yeah, cannot get it over there, so we gotta bring it in. Ugh. Okay, so from here, can you see both of my legs? I think you can. From here, we're gonna kind of snake side to side, and we're gonna end up in our pancake all the way forward. So you can just get those hamstrings ready for this stretch, keeping the legs straight, toes pointed. Then from here, start to walk the hands out. And on this one, you might need to adjust your butt a little bit so you don't feel like anything's gonna tear. We want our back straight. I would rather your stomach, your belly button touch the floor than your forehead, right? Because this isn't stretching much, but this is. So keeping those legs straight, keep reaching forward, all the way down. Trying to get the back of the knees on the floor, even if you have your legs elevated, keep them that straight, reaching, adjust as needed. And if you have something in front of you, like if you can grab onto couch legs and pull, that is even better because that gives you that extra leverage for a deeper stretch. Or you can have someone gently push down on your lower back here, not up here, they should push here to push that belly button closer to the floor. I usually will put a panel mat or something heavy onto my back to help with this stretch. From here, you can keep your feet on the blocks or you can go onto the floor. We're going to do our middle stretch, our middle split stretch. Okay, so you can roll into it. I do not have the best middle splits. I definitely don't. But you can roll into it or you can stand up and slide into it. Whatever works best for you. I'm going to hoist myself up and then get into my middles. And you can see, my middles are not beautiful. They're really not. They're not beautiful at all. So I'm gonna help you feel human and understand that not everybody has their middle splits. You may see a lot of these dancers or gymnasts showing, but a lot of them are naturally flexible and you're like, well, I can't do that. You have to be born flexible. No, if you stretch consistently, you can get more flexible. So this one we're just gonna hang out. Like yesterday, my calves were not touching the ground, and now today they are. So it's different every day. You can go down to your chest. You can put your arms up to the side. You can go up on your hands. You can go against a wall. You can lie on your back with ankle weights and a straddle. All of these work. And then from here, you can either roll forward to get out of it, or you can walk your hands back and sit down. When you come out of this, be very, very slow and very, very gentle because they've just been stretched to places that they don't usually go. So you don't want to move too fast coming out of a middle split stretch. Definitely use assistance to get your legs together. Cool. From there, we're going to go into a pike stretch. This one you can use the edge of a sofa for. You're going to put your feet together at the edge, or you can use yoga blocks. Doesn't really matter. I will show the yoga blocks for these purposes. So you're going to be in a pike, legs are straight. You're trying to get the back of your knees down to the floor. So if you squeeze tight enough, your heels may come off the ground. Try and keep that. If you need to hold here, 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 wherever you need to go, I'm going to hold the block at the other end to stretch, right? I get a little bit more leverage for me that way. Keeping the legs straight, feet are flexed. You can be flat this way. You can be flat this way like I am. You can turn it this way and reach a little bit further. And keep that back as flat as you can until the very end where you can tuck the head down. Keeping those legs straight and breathe. Every time you breathe, think of all of the oxygen going straight to those muscles to relax them. When we breathe and hold stretches long enough, our brain sends a signal that the muscles are safe and they don't need to seize or cramp or be afraid. The reason that our muscles seize up is because they're afraid of being injured, so they flex. We need to stay in our stretches long enough so our brain feels like, oh, I'm safe in this position, I can relax. That's why you'll feel kind of micro releases about every 10 seconds when you stretch long enough. From here, now we're going into shoulders. You're going to put your hands up on an elevated surface. And you're going to drop your armpits down. You're going to be on your knees. And you want to drop your armpits down to the floor as far as you can, but don't let the arms bend, right? So you want to keep the arms as straight as you can. They can be shoulder width or they can be closer together. Drop the armpits as low as you can for this first one. You can rock side to side to feel some stretch in the lats. Then from here, engage the core. Keep the armpits as low as they can go and the arms as straight as they can be. When you engage the core, you're going to feel a different stretch, and this is going to be more of a stretch that you're going to feel for handstands or any kind of calisthenic movement, because there's very little that you do, maybe similar to a contortion handstand, where you're completely relaxed in the core. So engage that core, feel this extra stretch. Then you're going to grab your yoga block. You're going to put your hands on either side of it. You're going to put your elbows on here, drop your head through, and then reach the block towards your back for a tricep stretch. So elbows go on, right? You're dropping your head through. You're holding the yoga block on either side. From here, you're going to bend your elbows towards your back. You're going to feel this stretch in your triceps and your lats, and hang out here as long as you can. Try and get those thumbs or the yoga block to touch your back and breathe. Once you're done stretching your triceps, come out nice and slow. Then we're going to use this block right where if you're a girl, right where your bra strap is. If you're a guy, right below your shoulder blades. So from here, you're going to put the block back. Make sure you can balance first before you put all your weight onto it, right? Make sure you're good. Your hips are going to stay on the floor to stabilize your lower back so you can isolate your upper back, which most of us don't bend. From here, you're going to slowly, you can put your hands behind your head, slowly release your head back, and then from here, let your arms go straight, reach far, and try and touch the floor. You can hold a weight, or you can just use your arm weight. Keep those arms straight, head release, and breathe. You might get some cracks and pops here. Reach the arms out to the side, palms up to stretch the chest. When you're ready, hands behind your head. Pull your chin to your chest. Start to roll forward, grab the backs of your legs, and pull yourself up. Okay? Beautiful work. That one you can adjust on the lower end, wherever you need to be, or you can start stacking blocks to get higher and higher. You can use heavier and heavier weight, but very, very, very gentle into that one. From there, we're going to bend the opposite direction in a plow. So you're going to roll back, and your knees are going to try and touch the floor behind you. You need to make sure that your head does not turn to either side first. So you're looking straight up between your legs. Then you're trying to bend and touch your knees to the floor. Hands are on your back to help support and push. You can rock side to side. You can grab your legs to pull down. You can push your butt down towards you and find this stretch. I used to be able to get both knees to the floor, and now it's only one, but that is okay. Feel where your body is at.
You can do straight legs. You can do straddle. You can do tuck. When you're ready, slowly grab the knees and roll back up. And you're done. So, thank you for joining me for the full body stretch. That's kind of how I go through. It's usually around like a 30-minute stretch workout at the end of my regular workout. And I can do this in 15 minutes. I just cut the time back of how long I hold it for. If you really liked these strong blocks and you want to get some for yourself, I'm going to put the link in the description. You can use the code TLAG10 and get 10% off. But they're awesome. You can use them for like L-sits and core work and push-ups and all that stuff, and then use them as yoga blocks as well. They're thinner than normal yoga blocks, so they store really well, and they're sturdy. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. If you like this kind of training and you want to see more stretching or any other tips or any specific stretches for certain body parts, let me know, and I will see you next week.